he's not a real doctor, but like, he's Dr. Phil.
Dirty Rotten Scandals, a new documentary series that just premiered on E! That is going to cover the Dr. Phil show, as well as America's Next Top Model and Bob Barker. This first set of series went into Dr. Phil, who is not really a doctor. Yes, he has a PhD, but he gave up his license in 2006 because he could get away with doing much more awful things to people if he wasn't worried about losing his license. It was also ruled in California that because he was just doing something for entertainment and not providing actual medical help, he didn't have to have one in California either, so that should tell you everything you need to know about that show. Philip McGraw was born in 1950 in Vinita, Oklahoma, which was easy to remember because that's actually my mom's name, and my brother was born in the same state. Then he went on to get probably the fastest PhD I've ever seen in my entire life. By 1975, he's got a bachelor's in psychology. By 1976, he's got a master's, 75, 76. He's got a master's in experimental psychology, and by 1979 has a PhD in clinical psychology. That is very fast. One thing that's very synonymous with Dr. Phil is exploitation, but almost right neck and neck with that are the lawsuits, including the first one. He runs a membership scam in the 70s, starts a spa. However, when they bankrupt the spa, the legal paperwork actually made these people still responsible for their membership to the new company that their memberships were sold to, even though the spa no longer existed. He was investigated by the district attorney in that area, but left the state, and the investigation kind of fell apart. Then he goes on to create a business called Courtroom Services, and this is how he gets his big break, because basically Courtroom Services helps people by holding mock trials and this sort of stuff so that you can be more believable, because you're probably lying, in court. And I've heard a lot of discourse about this lately, about, well, someone's under oath, they can't lie. Yes, they can. It's not magical. Liars are liars. Phil meets Oprah because his business, Courtroom Services, which is still open, however, he's not an owner anymore, helps with the 1996 libel suit that she was involved in because on her show she had said cows should be eating greens, not each other, because it was mad cow disease. If you're old, you remember this whole time, right? I remember that. It was wild. But beef owners actually sued her because she said that, and they said that their futures dropped 10% that day. That's how her and Phil became acquainted.
Philip? Go to your cage. Absolutely, Oprah.
This is going to get really serious, so we had to stop and laugh really quick, and I think that proves a really good point that this show is so problematic. A comedy show that has been off air, Mad TV, for like 2 decades now, was making fun of this back then, right? But Dr. Phil got his start by consulting with Oprah, going on her show, all that stuff. Then in 2002, started his own production company, media production company, and went directly into syndication, which that's kind of a big deal. His show was produced by Oprah's studio, Harpo Studios.
Oprah Winfrey very quickly became the queen of daytime television. She brought a whole bunch of people on at the same time. Susie Orman, financial wellness guru, Dr. Oz, who is now working for the federal government, and then Dr. Phil.
My next guest is here to help lead you in the right direction. I've chosen him because he is the person who helped me the most getting through my trial.
Let's all say it together. Thanks, Oprah. And I'm not even mentioning that time that she platformed Pinsky and made him look legitimate. Oh, I just mentioned it. But Dr. Phil starts in 2002, and remember, for that first 4 years, we've got a license that we're worried about. Almost immediately upon that license expiring, the show's tone takes a huge shift because, keep in mind, he can get away with a lot more now.
After that, you can see yourself. The show became more sensational, more disturbing.
She claims her father is a violent, dangerous psychopath.
It goes from like mom's on the edge to my daughter thinks she's pregnant with baby Jesus. What will the ultrasound show?
I am pregnant. And it is Jesus.
At this point, the show is huge. It's blowing up everywhere. He doesn't have a medical license he has to worry about with all those pesky ethics. We can just go straight for ratings. He has people on there with mixed messages. He's mean to people. And watching the show, I never really got into Dr. Phil because you could kind of tell he was only doing it to help himself. He was not helping these people. And then if you were lucky enough, you'd get a cut to his wife's skincare program at the end. I mean, it was literally just an infomercial. So that brings us to 2011 when he brings a young lady on who is 16 and pregnant.
My stepfather did not feel confident in my decision.
I don't feel confident in his
My
hair.
mom just wanted to support me. Her and my stepfather were fighting nonstop. She was just desperate. She didn't want to have to choose between her husband and her child.
Child every time.
Oh, sorry.
So she wrote into the Dr. Phil show.
The night before they were supposed to fly out, she begged, please do not make me do this, which would become a theme in her time there, saying that to the producers. There's another person who said they didn't want to do it, and the producers told them straight up, well, then we're not paying for you to get home. And they did go after families that were in certain situations. Not having a ton of money was one of those situations, because this was all about exploiting them. It wasn't about helping anyone. So we can just like ball that up and throw it away right now. She didn't want to do it and was forced into it. Then you get to the next person who went through a horrific event.
I was 18 and pregnant when my friend asked to come over to my house.
According to court paperwork, Taruga came over with 2 large butcher knives and a pair of scissors.
She told me that there was this gift that she wanted to give me. She told me to turn around and close my eyes. She just says 1, 2. And right when she says 3, I felt like there was a knife to my back. I stood up as fast as I could, ran and turned the light on. 911 was called. The cops were there. They could all see 2 large butcher knives. They also found scissors, disinfectant, a baby onesie, a newborn blanket. That's when I started to realize she had plotted to me and perform a C-section on my body to take my unborn child.
This particular story is important because it shows that this was all about ratings. That young woman did not contact the show. She had a big news story happen, so they contacted her and wanted to have her on, and spoiler alert for part 2, blamed her for what happened to her and tried to sell a book. But that shouldn't surprise anyone. Do you guys know what he did to Britney Spears? Oh, we'll talk about it in part 2. I gotta get off to school. I hope you're having a good day, and ugh.